Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
All right, title of today's video is why does Boss make so many delay pedals?
Because they're all the same form factor, right? They're all sort of double pedal size. They've all got tons of features. Here's the quick answer if you don't want to watch the whole thing. If you want the sound of Analogue, which one should you buy, Dan?
The DM-101.
If you want the sound of tape, which one should you buy, Dan?
The RE-202.
If you want the sound of digital delay, and specifically 80s digital delay, which one should you buy, Dan?
The SDE-3000.
And if you want a really good all-rounder, which one should you buy, Dan?
The DD-500.
There you go.
There you go. That's it. No need to watch the rest of it.
It's funny because when we were talking about doing this video, we were like, oh no, we're going to get so lost today. And we will probably get a bit lost because there's millions and millions of features. But actually, Boss are not dumb.
Oh no. So far from, they can't even see dumb from where they are. It's just a dot to them. It's really, really clever.
Quick top line feature overview then.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Just a quick interjection. Our stats tell us that less than half of the people that watch our videos are actually subscribed. So please take a second and hit that subscribe button. It really does make a difference. Okay, thanks for watching. Back to the show.
Because there's some things, initial questions with delays that you just want to make sure of. So let's do that quickly.
Okay.
Before we get into each pedal.
Right.
I've had to draw a little diagram here which will replicate on screen, hopefully. Stereo.
Stereo.
Yes?
Yes.
Loads of it?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Yes, in certain modes.
Only in certain modes?
Only in certain modes.
Yes?
Mega yes.
Mega yes.
The reverb only.
So no stereo delay.
No stereo delay.
MIDI?
They've all got MIDI. The only one that has the proper sized 5-pin DIN ports is the DD-500. The other three have the mini jack, Boss's mini jack MIDI.
Which means connectors, adapters and all that.
Exactly. But they do have it, but it's a mini faff.
So the point of MIDI means you've got multiple features and things that you can change per preset.
Indeed.
Everything's got presets. So you can program sounds to recall them. Getting a little more tweaky with our delay features. EQ. Can we change the EQ of the repeats?
Okay. Yes, bass and treble on the repeats and also new or aged tape on the RE-202. There is a single filter control on the SDE-3000, so limited.
We were surprised by that.
Very surprised. No, it's an analog delay and 'tis what 'tis.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
And the more sort of character you put on the delay, the EQ does change, but there's no specific EQ facility.
Absolutely.
Tons in the
Tons in the
DD-500.
DD-500.
I think it's 4-band parametric plus some other stuff.
It's amazing.
Not least, tone knob on the top panel.
Yeah.
While we're there, one of the things that really makes sense about the 101 and the 202 formats is pretty much everything is available on the top panel.
Yeah.
So if you like knobs
Yes.
and you like tweaking them,
Yep.
that was very much part of the 101 and the 202 design.
Yeah.
The other two, more extensive menu diving.
But there's no knobs. It's all push buttons. But
Okay.
most of controls are available on the top, but in a push button format.
You have to dive deeper in the DD-500, which is
really do.
pretty much all menus.
Yes.
Although the most usable stuff there on the top panel. Okay, getting even more tweaky, looper.
Looper. No in the RE-202, unless you consider an element of sound on sound there, but I would say that's a no.
Not a specific start-stop looper.
No, actually, there's not on any of them except the DD-500, which has a really good one.
So there you go. Looper might be important. Expression pedal control?
On all of them. Yeah. And it's very interesting because even on the analog delay, you can set different knob positions for the heel and for the toe, which is really cool.
Really cool. Stereo we spoke about, and linked to stereo would be series and parallel routing, signal routing, because you can do two in the DD-500, for example, and also the SD-3000, two separate delays. Can you split them stereo, and can you have them series parallel? In series, sorry.
202 obviously doesn't, we've only got the single thing going, so not there. Which I thought you'd be able to in the 202. I thought you'd at least be able to pan the heads, but apparently not.
Pretty sure you can't.
SDE-3000, yes, and comprehensively. There's a couple of different parallel options in the series option. It's really great.
It even has an inbuilt wet-dry function.
Yeah.
And if you get the EVH model, you get wet-dry-wet.
Which is awesome. No on the 101, and yes on the DD-500.
Yes, correct. So you can have two in series. Actually, you can have three in series, or you can have parallel or stereo. Whew. Okay, I think that's most of the kind of ordinary stuff you'd want. Obviously, they all have tap tempo.
Yes.
I say obviously, but perhaps it's not obvious to some. And power requirements, they all run 9 volt center negative off less than 500 milliamps. So, which is great because there's a lot going on, especially in the DD-500. There's a lot of processing in all of them except the DM-101, and they're not crazy current hungry things, which is helpful. Analog drive-through?
Analog drive-through on all of them, but the 202 you do need to turn off the preamp modeling, which we've done today. But the rest of them do have analog drive-through. You can turn on modeled preamps for
DD-500.
the DD-500. Yeah. So yeah, you can do that, which kills analog drive-through. But turn that stuff off, and you do have analog drive-through.
Yeah, so they're all set up to be analog drive-through today.
Great. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah, we'll see you next week for something less boring.
Okay, well, no, let's get into it. I was looking around yesterday, and it caught my eye just how many delay pedals they've got. And the question came up, why? Especially, and this isn't just Boss, companies like Strymon, Empress, there's loads of companies that have multiple variations of delay pedals. And I thought it was really interesting, like with the DD-500, which is such a comprehensive delay machine, why do we still need these other things?
Yeah.
So I thought let's get into it and see how they sound, see if we can get something approaching those sounds in the DD-500, and have a look at what the strengths of these other ones are.
That's it, isn't it? If you read the feature list that we've just talked about, the one you're buying is this.
Yes.
Because it's got everything, and it's really editable, and it's, on the face of it, at least the most powerful. So we're going to set up what we would consider to be the quintessential core strong point tones of these others, see how close we can get with the DD-500, and then talk about some of the stuff the DD-500 can do that the others can't.
Beautiful. Okay, let's start with the RE-202. This came out a little while ago, and it is the emulation of the famous Roland Space Echo. The layout is very similar to the Space Echo, where you can choose multiple heads, and that, the heads light up here so you can see what's going on. But as a basic tone, let's just quickly talk about the amps today. We've got deluxe reverb, and the closest other thing that we have to a deluxe reverb,
I wonder what the settings are.
which is the Tone King, the Imperial Tone King. So,
And we are running in stereo today.
we are running in stereo today. So if we just, here's the sound of the amps together. RE-202. I would buy it just for that.
Couldn't resist it.
Yeah. So it does. Being a big fan of real tape, it's spectacular.
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool thing.
We'll just break that down a little bit for you. So as you can see with these LEDs here, there are in this particular tape echo, in the original, there were 3 separate playback heads.
Mm-hmm.
Record heads. Playback heads.
Playback heads.
So you can have 3 repeats that stack on top of one another. Here is just head number 1. Head number 2. One and 2. You get the idea. Combinations of heads come together to create a pattern delay, and we'll recreate that in the DD-500 in a sec. What they've added in the 202 is a 4th head, which wasn't in the original,
right?
To enable you to get
Really
loads
long.
more.
Yeah.
So if we stick all 4 on, I'll just do 1 repeat so you can hear what happens. Okay. We'll add more repeats, and you get the classic space echo effect. There you go. 1, 3, and 4. Dan will keep playing, and I'll affect the wow and flutter and the saturation so you can get an idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost. If that's hard to hear. Much more effecty round there. And we have done a previous video of it comparing it to an original tape echo. It's pretty good.
It's great. The other thing is you've got stereo reverb. It's you know, the reason it has stereo in and outs is purely because of the reverb. But the reverb in it sounds really good, and you've got 4 different sorts of reverbs that you can select.
Yeah.
The originals have a small box spring reverb that I love personally, but you can have them. That's the larger, more ambient thing. So
I think there's a plate in there as well.
Yeah,
and a hall. So some digital algorithms in there too.
Yeah.
For the reverbs.
So, but it's the only, unless the DD-500 has a reverb in it somewhere.
Of course it does.
That's right. So, but that, you know, having that reverb on tap, which is what the Space Echo has, that, you know, being able to add reverb on top.
Yeah. I don't know that it has, by the way.
So for me, the sound of tape, the way that tape degrades, the way that the heads hit together, when you get 2 tape heads and the repeats land, they're a little bit, can be a bit flangey.
Yeah.
So I talked to the guys at Boss today, and the technology in the 202 is different. Specifically the 202 and the SDE-3000. They use a different technology. It's a much more complex modeling technology that they use. Apparently, there's 1,000 hours of recording original Space Echoes that have gone into the 202.
The point being, it's not just the algorithm from the DD-500.
No. And it's not just different EQs and filters on the repeats.
Okay.
It's very specifically around that sound.
Well, let's see what we can get out of the DD-200 then. We'll put it in the tape mode, and we'll just start there and see what we've got in A. Let's just see, because this is going to take a minute for me to get my head around this. So what we've got there is only one head, so help. We'll go into the menus. We'll edit the patch. We'll find the number of heads.
Oh, so that's all in there as well.
Yeah, I would have thought so. So we know it's in tape mode. It's an Echoplex, so we're going to change that to a 202, hopefully RE-201.
Yeah.
RE-201,
That's what
sorry.
you want, yep.
Which is that green thing back there. I will speed all this up because it's going to be really boring. Apparently that was tape heads 2 and 3. So we'll go, we've got...
So you can get 1, 3 and 4, oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, so we've only got 3 heads.
Like the original.
Like the original.
Yes,
so
of course.
We'll put all 3 on.
Okay.
And let's keep going. Feedback, tone.
Man, that is a really comprehensive menu.
And now we're just getting into the damping EQs.
Okay.
The duct sensitivity. So you could really go with this.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep going. We could keep going forever.
Yep.
There doesn't seem to be an immediately obvious way of getting that saturation in there
Right.
that I can find. But this is key, right? Because it took us 4 hours this morning to go through various manuals and stuff like that to try and find various parameters and editability functions and all of that. And if you've got weeks and weeks and weeks, you can get into it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's in there because it's just like there's so much going on.
Yeah, I can't.
But the big,
can't see it. We'll go from the top. We've got the mode is tape. So
Yep.
if we change that, it goes to analog, vintage digital.
Okay.
That's all these ones that you can have on here.
Right.
We've got time, we've got BPM, we've got RE-201 simulation,
Yeah.
tape heads, feedback, tone, effect level, mod depth, mod rate, wow and flutter, which I've turned up. So there's nothing in there that would suggest it has
The level to tape.
the kind of gain
Yeah.
and squash.
Because the other important thing about the 201 is that preamp.
Yeah,
It's everything. Now,
we've got it turned off.
we've got it turned off, but we do have the way that the preamp puts the level to tape is really important. So the saturation knob gives you the sound of that. The important thing to say about the 202 is that took seconds because it's all on the top, right?
That's
to get
it.
that sound, it was like, bang, we're done.
Exactly.
So if what you're after is that, I just want that tape thing. I want it without the noise and the faff. I want a really good simulation of it. I want analog drive-through with the reverb. And that's what I want every day of the week.
Yeah. So tape echo, would you buy the DD-500 or the 202?
202.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
Let's move on.
Indeed. Okay, next up, we're going to have a look at the SDE-3000.
Oh, God.
Now, the audible gasp
I'm out.
from I'm out, I'm done. I remember when this came out and I was really excited, and I fitted this to a couple of people's boards, not the least fitting it to Simon McBride.
Yeah, we did an episode with Simon. Have a look. You
Yeah.
can hear it in all its glory.
Yes. So it is a take on the SDE-3000 rack unit with one major difference. The original SDE is a 12-bit delay, whereas this is a 12-bit simulation. It's not actually 12-bit. There are 12-bit delays available. The Auto Machine's BIM is a 12-bit delay that uses actual 12-bit processing. This uses a simulation of it. However, again, what Boss have done is gone to the nth degree with this new engine technology they've got. And it really is a really spectacular sounding thing.
Transported instantly. So getting away from the 202, the tape sound, what we've now got is a quantum leap in technology.
Yep.
The delay repeats go from being this saturated tape effecty multiple heads to a straight digital stereo deal.
Yes.
And you heard this. I mean, there was nothing else exactly like it, but you heard this and things of its ilk
Yeah.
throughout the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Ibanez, MXR, they all had versions of a 12-bit digital delay, and they're all rack units.
Yeah.
And that was the birth of, racks. It's like the technology's moved to a point where we can now extend our delay times digitally, and amazing things was done. The SDE, this one's, again, analog drive-through, really important. But the sound of those repeats, I think they've done such a great job. Now, what's really interesting is there's a filter button on there. So it's all the EQ that we've got is just that filter button, and it's subtle. You know what I mean? It's
I was considering using this in my own rig, and then was like, surely there's more EQ control than that.
Yeah.
Surely there is, but if there is, we can't find it.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. However, when you hear it like that, it stands out on its own as that proper,
Full frequency.
Steve Lukather, that sound.
And a typical signal chain placement for something like this would definitely be in the effects loop of an amp of the period, or within a rack system of the period. So we've got it going into the front of these amps today because they're set clean, so it's fine. We've got the distortion before it from the protein, so it's fine to run them in the front as long as the amps aren't overdriving too much, which they're not.
Yeah.
At the moment it's stereo, is it?
At the moment it's stereo.
Because you can have it stereo, you can have it wet dry, or you can have it in series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's really interesting. You've got, on the 2 foot switches, you've got 2 different delays happening at the same time. And those foot switches simply enable you to turn off each delay. So if you play for us.
Fighting a little bit with tuning.
So all the information is on the top here.
So there's modulation in that.
There's modulation in that, so you can affect the modulation, and you alter. It is literally 2 separate digital delays. So if I want to edit one, I choose like digital delay 2. I turn off digital delay 1 so I can just hear that.
So you're affecting the delay time and the number of repeats. Is mod on and off? Can you affect the depth and rate of the modulation?
Yeah. So again, it's on here. I've got rate and depth right here.
Sorry, I can't see from here.
Yeah. So let's go really deep.
Can you set if you've got 2 delays set, can you set the ratio so that when you tap, it changes both delays?
Yeah. So it doesn't come up on, it doesn't change on here.
There must be a way you can set that readout to give you real-time information. Surely, no?
So the trouble that you've got is
There's only one.
yeah, which delay of the two delays
Yeah,
are you giving the information on?
yeah.
So, like if I've got to select here which information on which delay I want.
Right.
You know, same as the original.
Moot.
Yeah. So we have a quick look at the series parallel thing. So at the moment, we're in stereo, right? Each delay is going to a separate amplifier. If I go into setup and I go to master and then
Yes,
I
my
go
son.
into setup again, there's structure. At the moment we're in parallel 2, so play that for us. So this is now series where one delay is feeding into the other one. It's if I go into, let's exit that now. I'm just going to reduce the time on this one.
Will we get to 1985?
Gun it. 77 miles an hour. Okay, just play that for us.
Maybe increase the repeats a little bit.
Yeah. So instead of the two different delays being hit in parallel, the first delay, we get that repeat, and then that goes into the second delay. So the series parallel thing is like super interesting because both of those delays are still stereo. If you have a look at the sheet and there's all this crossfading thing that happens, it's like
Oh, you can choose. You can decide whether they are or not. Can't you? I think.
It's like it's amazing.
And it's those phase relationships of the two delays that gave the sound of the thing in the first place.
Indeed.
The way they're all folding over one another.
So again, it's very specifically that thing, that sound of those two delay engines.
So currently
going
they're series and stereo.
Yeah, but if we go back to parallel, because that's the sound for me.
Yeah.
In stereo.
So that one delay is not affecting the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
This is important. If you're running like some sort of split signal when you've got other stereo effects, you might not want the two delays acting on the whole tone. You might want that very specific repeat on that side and that very specific repeat on that side, and the two not causing, because when you put two delays together, you get a pattern.
Yeah.
And it stops that from happening.
Exactly that.
Because the second delay repeats the first one.
Exactly that.
And that doesn't happen when they're truly in parallel.
Yep.
Parallele.
Parallel.
Nice. Okay. Whoa, flipping heck, man. You said we could affect the depth and speed of the modulation.
Yes.
And we've got a little bit of filtering on the repeats.
There's a little bit of filtering only on one side, only on the second side.
And is there any dynamic availability in this? Because one other thing that was key for delays of the period was to have some ducking or some padding.
So let's have a look. So go into settings. I don't know.
Okay, we don't know that. We'll put it on screen if we can find it out. So eventually then, let's get to the DD-500. I think In the DD-500, you have to use the dual mode if you want series and parallel routing. I think it's the only mode that does it. Apologies if it's not, but we know that it definitely does. So we'll come to dual. What I don't know now is if we get out of there a sec, what I don't know is when you're in dual, if these are the two delays. Shall we find out?
Yeah.
That's groovy. That's so
Great.
groovy. Okay, so you only have to have one of the delays on, so we could have two duals on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which would be quite... Anyway, let's not do that. We'll just stick with the standard dual, and let's see what we can affect in here then under the... so play a bit down, we'll see what we can get. You can hear the very distinct filtering in the repeats. What's really cool about the dual pattern in this is that you can have different delay types by the looks of things. So delay type 1 says standard.
Right.
So if we change that to an analog, and we change D type 2 to tape,
Yeah, man.
so you get two different types of delay. But what we'll do is we'll make them, to keep it fair, what's it going to be? Vintage digital?
Vintage digital.
Oh no, we can't have any. We can only have tape, analog, or standard.
Okay.
Which is a shame. So we'll stick it to standard. What's quite cool is you set the tap tempo will go for delay 1, and then you can select your second delay as a percentage of number 1.
Right.
So it's currently 75. You could have it 50%, which would mean it would be twice as long.
Right.
Blah blah blah. There's tone, there's mod depth, and we've got all of that stuff. Again, extensive. Oh, and ducking. Go on. could keep going forever with the parameters in the DD-500 because remember we said there's 4 bands of parametric EQ.
Yeah.
The ducking thing was really cool. I don't know if you could really make it out, but it sort of pads how the delay comes in.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. If you find the edge of the delay too hard, you can just duck it a bit and it's nice when it comes back in.
Yeah, that's like a TC, the big rack that they
2290.
2290.
Yeah.
That ducking delay on that was a big thing.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I think that's harder, right? DD-500 sounds great to me.
It does sound wonderful.
I don't know what the compelling reason for having the SDE is. Is it in its modulation sounds? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something, the way they do stereo, it sounds wider to me.
Yeah.
It's a very specific sound. If that was all I wanted,
Yeah.
and I also had the time to sit down and get used to that menu system,
Yeah.
then
I think for me, I know what a tape delay should sound like, and I know that it's a very specific sound. Same with analog when we come onto it in a sec. I know that sound,
yeah,
and therefore I know what I'm expecting. It's fair to say I don't really understand fully what the SDE is doing because I've never used one.
right.
So for me personally, it's DD-500 win at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the SDE
Yeah.
just because that 80s 12-bit thing is something that I really dig. There's a width that has in stereo that I like. The menu system is alien, but you get used to that. But again, it would only be for that specific sound.
Yeah, I spent an afternoon once with the DD-500 and the RV and the
and you got into it.
modulation one.
Yeah.
And that was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Certainly a number of years ago. And I can still remember how to drive the DD-500 pretty much.
Yep.
So that one afternoon of learning, I can still kind of remember how to drive it.
Yeah.
Same with the SDE. If you put the time in, it would be fine.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
sure.
All right, let's move on then. Analog. The DM-101 is actually analog.
Yeah.
All of these others are digital delays. But the DM-101 is actually analog, which means bucket brigade devices.
I think there's 8 chips in there. I mean, it's. I think they only made 7 of them. You know, because they took so many chips to make them.
This one, is it dual delay? Am I getting that right? So there's 2 analog delays in there?
Two separate analog delays. Only a mono input, but stereo output.
Okay, so with all the others, you could put it in a chain of stereo effects, i.e. if you had a stereo chorus before, or something else stereo, or some sort of
parallel line.
But with the DM-101, not so. It needs a mono input. Just for shices and gigales then, let's hear a standard digital delay next to the analog delay to give you some context of what we're talking about with this analog sound. Here is a standard digital delay. Here's a fairly classic analog delay. I'll give you a bit more intensity, a bit more repeat so you can hear how it goes off. So it gets darker, it gets more overdriven. It just falls away so that it doesn't get in the way of what you're playing. And that's the whole point with analog delay.
Yeah. That's just the standard straight single. It's just that alone.
Now listen to what happened if he were trying to do that with a straight digital delay.
Immediately, because I'm hitting quite hard, and but immediately you can hear, even though there's a lot of analog delay effect on that, doesn't get in the way of anything.
Yeah.
But the digital delay, you're hearing all the attack and you're hearing all that stuff, right? That's the analog thing.
Yeah.
That's why we still love it. That's why people are still making analog devices.
And given that everything in life it has some yin and yang to it, that is the reason why you love analog delay, or why you might hate it, because you're trying to get a clean repeat and it's not there, or you want it to fall away, and that's the whole point of analog delay. Sorry for labouring that point.
Really good.
So let's have a listen to a few of the sounds in the DM-101 then, and go to some of the dual settings perhaps.
Okay.
I need to check which ones are the stereo patches.
Yes.
Nice.
Just wonderful.
Obviously I can't see, it's so tiny, I have to do the 2 pairs of glasses thing. Okay, this variation knob changes different things for different parameters.
Yes.
This changes this on this particular thing that we're hearing, it changes the phase of the two
wow.
phase variation in the 2 delays.
Okay.
Just try a minimum and maximum just so you can hear.
Flippin' magical thing.
Dan's happy place. So what you might assume to this point is that because the DD-500, the SDE-3000D and the RE-202 are all digital, the DD-500 should be able to do a pretty good job at recreating them. The DM-101 is actually analog. So
Properly analog.
What we're listening to now is an actual analog delay, and we'll see how close the DD-500 can get. So we'll go back to our classic. Little bit of modulation. Let's go start there. Yeah.
That alone is interesting because the longer delay time, the darker the repeat.
Yep. There are startup things you can do in this to change some of that, I believe.
Okay.
Anyway, so there you go. We'll go to the analog mode on the DD-500 then. Okay, I think I'm going to discover something already. Maximum delay time for the analog delay in the DD-500 is 300 milliseconds.
Wow.
Now, I think there is a way that you can change this.
I think it's a tap tempo. Can't you tap in a longer delay time?
Try it.
it's interesting that they've put those limitations in.
I'm going to say that I'm sure there's a way you can affect this, but I can't bring it. I can't bring it to mind currently. So
Okay.
we'll get this one to the same delay
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
So it's 300, yeah.
Yep.
So the DM-101 goes off nicer.
Yep.
It's not. It doesn't sound so effecty.
Doesn't
it
have
goes
any
off.
artifacts.
Yeah. Now
the same.
again, you might be able to affect that a little bit more in the DD-500 because remember we've got those 4 bands of parametric EQ. We've got all the ducking options. The low, you can change the way in which the low, in addition to the 4 bands of EQ, you can change the way the low and the high goes off in the repeat.
Right.
It's so cool. Play a bit, Dan, because obviously this very sort of stabbing A/B kind of sound
just to hear the
doesn't
repeats.
really
All right.
doesn't really tell you very much.
All right.
Definitely not bad in the DD-500.
I was actually really impressed
And-
with what the DD-500 could do.
I'll say again, loads more tweaking availability.
Yeah.
We've played with the DM-101 quite a lot and we're really impressed with it. It is analog in nature and it does sound great and we both really like it. If you were wedded to the analog sound, obviously. If you're not wedded to the analog sound, I'd be really happy with the DD-500.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if the question is choose one of these 4, I have to go to the DD-500. There's no way. But if the question was, I need just analog sound.
And more milliseconds.
Yes.
Because you can only go 300 in there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can affect loads of stuff in the DD-500 to get a sound similar using the EQs, the various mods and stuff. So you could approximate it other ways. At this point, it's now a game of UI. Because I'm going to choose the DM-101 every day of the week over the DD-500.
Yeah. But there's not only that. There's things that the DM-101 DD-101 does that I've never heard in an analog delay before. That twin engine thing, that separation, it's such a groovy thing. When Boss released this, it sort of restored my faith in large manufacturing people, because the vision it takes to put something like that out in the market, they did it. And it's just really cool.
It is
really, really cool.
Okay. Yeah, tougher. There are additional functions as well. You heard it in the Space Echo at the beginning, like the swirl and the tweeze and all of that, which is, you know. Would you ever use those things? I don't know, but they're in there. They're in there, and have a look. Okay, finally then. So clearly we've said if we're going to go for tape echo, RE-202, absolutely.
Yes.
Dan would choose the SDE if he was going for a specific. I think if we were both into analog to the point that the sound of analog delay was really important to us, it is the DM-101.
Yeah. Has to be.
Actually, I'm wavering at this point because the only thing I use an analog delay for is a doubling delay.
Yeah.
And I'll use it before overdrive.
Yes.
Everything else I want cleaner delays.
However, the sound of an analog doubling delay, as we know, you can't get that sound anywhere else.
Yeah.
It has to be an analog device. So, like for me personally, like you've seen my board, it's silly, and I use real tape and all that stuff. I would be, depending on the gig, I'd be very happy to have 3 delays on my board to do specific things. Really happy. But 99% of the time, I'm just not going to need them. And I think the DD-500 sounds fantastic. The incredible tweakability that you can do with it, you have to live with it. Same way that I've lived with a timeline. I can get nearly everything I need out of that. You live with that. I mean, you can do more with that.
Millions more.
Yeah.
Just to make a practical point, presets on the 101 and the 202, you've got 4 available off the top panel.
Yeah.
Plus the manual mode, so arguably 5. And it's that sound on or off.
Yeah.
With the DD-500, you've got umpteen banks of 2 delays.
Yes.
So you can have this one on, or you can have this one on, or you can have them on both together.
Same thing as the SDE.
And when you go up a bank, 2 more delays.
Yeah.
Up a bank again, or more banks, 2 more delays.
Yeah.
So as an all-rounder, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah,
It's an
completely.
absolute no-brainer.
Sonically, it's wonderful as well. We haven't played around with that for a long time, and I'm really impressed with it. Still, because it's been out for a long time now. It sounds wonderful.
I actually think its biggest competition, if you're... Forget other brands, forget Strymon and stuff, because that's obviously its biggest competition. But the reason more people don't buy the DD-500 is because the DD-200 is so damn good.
Yeah.
And less menu diving, more things on the top panel.
Yeah.
If you just want a bit of simplistic. However, let us finish by going, it's all very well if you want analog, 80s tape, 80s digital or tape. Of course, the DD-500 has got an incredible more delay engines in it. Try this, Dan. Bit crushers.
Okay, I'm done.
And now what we've done is we've stepped away from the world that we've been in for the last hour or so, however long. Hopefully I can edit it a bit quicker than that, into things like Meris LVX,
Yeah.
Strymon Timeline. You know, now we're into multifunction delays that do a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
That it can do passable versions of these specific devices. I mean, it sounds like it's turned into a sales pitch for the DD-500 now, but that's the question you're asking, isn't it? You're saying, why on earth, as we pitched it at the top of the video, is Boss making all these delay pedals when this one ostensibly does it all?
Yeah.
And it does, with some caveats.
Indeed.
Yeah. Interesting.
I love that. You know, being a massive delay fan and getting to have a look at the one, because we've been over there and we know what the Boss guys are like and how into it they are. I can see them working on that on the 101, going, check this out. Let's put 8 delay chips in it and see what we can make. And it's a wonderful thing, but it's important for an all-round delay like the DD-500. It has to be able to do a good standard digital delay, a good tape emulation, a good analog. You know, let's think back to the Line 6 DL4. When that came out, the reason that just blew everyone's minds is because it could do a good emulation of all our favorite delays.
It also educated a whole generation of people that didn't know all that stuff existed in the first place.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You know, when we're A-Bing sounds like we have been today, the playing is tough, it's stilted, it's because you're never in the moment. All you're doing is trying to compare one sound with the other. The real value in any of these devices is when you just get into it.
Yeah.
And give yourself some time and let it flow and discover what it can do. And I think any of them is going to do that.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
You've got to take one. Which one are you going to take?
Is it, I've got to take one and it will be the only delay on my board, or I've got to take one and add it to the rest of the delays on my board?
You've got to have one delay pedal.
Oh. It's got to be the DD-500.
Every day of the week.
It has to be.
Has to be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of, I use 4 delay sounds, 335 millisecond all-rounder, a dotted eighth and a quarter note.
Yeah.
With some modulation. A doubling delay at 120, and then a modulated delay which creates chorus alongside a tappable quarter note.
Yeah. And you can do, yeah.
The only one of these that can do that is that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool. All right.
There
Thanks
we go.
for watching.
Yes. Thanks for watching. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merch. Check it out. Look, got new. I love this. Is this yours?
Catherine designed that one.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And check out the overshirt.
Yeah.
Phil.
Nice.
Yeah. Lovely.
It's how we fund this show. Please go there and buy stuff.
Massive thank you to our preferred retailers, details of which are below. And just thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.